Now to Decision 2012, and we're less than 100 days away from the presidential election. And tonight we have new numbers showing where the race for the White House stands in our state right now. And it is a big change from our last poll. We're also getting a new look at the Pete Hoekstra race, his lead over other Republican Senate candidates, and how he stacks up against Senator Debbie Stabenow. Political reporter Rick Albin's here to break it all down. Rick.
Well, Brian, the latest survey by our pollsters at EPIC-MRA showed the trend in the Republican primary race for the U.S. Senate continuing and President Obama making a comeback. First of those all-important presidential numbers, remembering that this is a snapshot of what you and your friends and neighbors are thinking right now, some 3+ months away from the election. 48% of you say that you would vote for President Obama if the election were held today. 42% say they would vote for Governor Romney. 10% say they're still mulling it over. Now, this is a substantial change from the EPIC poll in early June. Remember, that poll showed the state as a toss-up with Romney up 46-45 over Obama. Today's presidential poll was taken over the last week, surveyed 600 people, has a margin of error of plus or minus 4%, meaning that unlike the numbers from June, these numbers are not within that margin. Now, the same pollsters asked 800 of your fellow citizens about that Republican primary for the U.S. Senate. There, former Congressman Pete Hoekstra continues his lead of the rest of the field, 52%, 27% for Clark Durant, 4% for Randy Heckman, and at 3%, Gary Glenn. He's quit campaigning to support Durant. 1 week from the election, 15% say they are still not sure. With the primary still unsettled, the general election numbers show a Democratic incumbent Debbie Stabenow with a comfortable margin, though still below 50%. In that hypothetical November matchup, it shows Stabenow at 49%, Hoekstra at 35%, 16% are undecided. Now, our primary poll has a margin of error of 3.5%. The general election poll has a margin of plus or minus 4%.
Rick, thank you. Next week, we'll have the most complete results on primary night, including the results from the GOP Senate primary and that complicated write-in race for Roy Schmidt's seat in Grand Rapids. Next Tuesday, we'll be live at 10 on WXSP, at 11 on WOTV4, and of course after the Olympics here on Wood TV 8.